Hi, you guys. Welcome back to Sinister. We're going to continue our panels today. And we've got Composite Effects. We got Tabitha here, and Josh is hiding behind the scenes, and he'll pop in when needed. There he is. Yeah. So John and I are going to let Tabitha take the reins a little bit and do what she wants to do and explain everything to us. And then if you have some questions, just let us know. We'll throw them in there. And then we'll be throwing in some questions ourselves as well. So go ahead, Tabitha. Welcome to Sinister, and let's take it away.
Thank you guys so much. Love being here. Very excited to be a part of the second annual Cyber Creature Con. We were originally from California, Josh and I, born and raised. We were chatting about that right before we went live here. So we unfortunately missed the opportunity to do Sinister Creature Con in person, but we are very happy to be a part of this virtual experience. Like we were just saying, my name is Tabitha. I work for a company called Composite Effects. If you don't know, Composite Effects, or CFX as emblazoned on my shirt, we specialize in silicone masks, as you guys can see behind me. Now, we've been in business for going on about 15 years coming up this year, and we actually were one of the founders of the silicone mask technology. We started making silicone masks for the haunted house industry. There's a haunt out here in Baton Rouge that the owner of the company, it was kind of out of necessity. They needed to make a mask. Somebody couldn't sit in a makeup chair for hours on end, something easy on, easy off, and the silicone mask was born in a nutshell. We've been making masks for, like I said, going on 15 years. We also make gloves and other silicone body parts. But the haunted house industry has been really good to us. We go to a big trade show every year in March called Transworld, where everybody who owns a haunted house, a haunted farm, escape rooms, even if they do home haunts, they come to the show, they come see us, they come try masks on, and they realize they can't go home without a mask. And then we send them on their way, and they send us all the pictures of people wearing masks. So I think we're up to about 150, 160 characters, aside from all the licensed stuff that you do see behind me. Yes, that is Frankenstein that you do see behind me. And we can customize these guys in a multitude of ways. If you need a different color, if you want to add different horns, if you want to do a special clown paint job, if you want to add hair, we can pretty much do that. The sky and your budget is the limit. When it comes to putting these guys on, like I said, we specialize in the haunted house industry. We wanted to make sure that we had something that was really quick to get on and really quick to get off. That way the actor has plenty of time to take breaks. That way they're not sitting in the makeup chair. That way they're not wasting money on the production side of things. But we also work for different film projects. We've also done a lot of small time film projects, a lot of larger budget film projects, especially with a lot of our prop work that we do. Because we do not just silicone masks, but we do props as well. Here, I'm going to grab something for you. So in case someone's needing to get a nice bink on their head over here. But, hold on. I'm getting tossed a brain. So we do a lot of work with escape rooms as well. So we have a lot of realistic body parts for props. And they're very lifelike. So I got to throw more stuff. And so make sure you give somebody your heart the next time you step in and see us and all that good stuff. But yeah, so long story short, Composite Effects, we do silicone masks, we do silicone guts, we do props, we do a lot of different stuff, and we specialize in the haunted house industry. I'm going to pull Josh on screen here real quick to kind of show you a demo. I'm making him come on screen.
Okay, I didn't know what I had to do. So.
On how to put one of these masks on and off. Now, this is a version of our imp character, who is our icon character, just a really weird clown paint job. So I'm going to step over this way.
Okay, so if you've never done a silicone mask before, what you want to do is you want to roll the bib down. You want to put your hands inside the mask like you're diving in. Stretch that mask out. One of the things about our mask is you'll see how far they stretch. There's no slits in the back, so it's going to be form-fitting. And just like that.
It's amazing.
And when you're ready to take it off,
awesome.
Pop it right off.
Pop it right off.
And now, like Josh was saying, our masks are made out of silicone, which is unlike latex. The best thing about silicone is not only is its ability to stretch, but also there's no allergies. As far as we know, there's no allergies to silicone. So there's a lot of people out there who work haunts or do different events that are allergic to latex. And obviously, they can't go with a latex appliance. They can't go with a latex mask. So silicone is a wonderful option for that. And one more thing I wanted to share with you guys before we jump into any Q&As is a lot of people do ask us how far do our masks stretch. They're like, oh,
how durable are they?
I'm gonna stretch it. I'm gonna rip it. How durable is it? We have a display for that. It's gonna be a little hard to see. There we go. So it's like a carnival game.
But how big's your head? I think we can accommodate it. And we can keep going. We've blown this guy up to about 4 feet before. But yeah, so you can see it'll definitely fit. Now we're going to just kind of let the air out of it. It'll sink back down onto that head form. That's a specially modified one, so we can just kind of do this demo.
This is the best carnival game ever.
No.
All right, guys, now that I've onslaughted you with some information, feel free to ask me some questions. What you got going on? What you like? What you want to see? Do you want to see any of these guys a little bit closer? We are more than welcome to. We would be more than happy to bring them to you.
We did have a question from Jay who wants to know, what is the pink one with the large white eyeball?
That's one of our newer masks. This is Igor.
That's cool.
This is what we call it is vaporwave paint scheme. Do you want to hit some UV lights real quick? So because this is one of our little, we do live streams here, we have different light setups. So I'm going to have Josh hit the UV lights real quick. If you can find the correct. Aha. Aha. Aha.
Oh, wow.
There we go.
There we go. Oh, that's so cool.
Look at all that detail. It's amazing.
One of our newest masks from this year's lineup. It was sculpted by a guy who unfortunately no longer works with us. He moved back home to Minnesota. But it's called Igor. It reminds me of those super 80s, early 90s surfer punk, rap think kind of vibes. Ooh.
Yeah,
yes,
for sure.
Adjust his lights a little bit. But yeah, so we have a bloody version of him down here in the corner. So this guy right here, same mask, just different paint scheme. Josh is gonna see. This is why you need a second pair of hands. This is the way it works. It's the same mask.
Nice.
Just 2 different designs. The UV light's still hitting this guy, so you can still see some of the accents. You can see how this one doesn't have a UV paint job and how it doesn't react.
And a testament to my paint team that we have here. All of these little veins you can see, those are all hand piped by hand. All individually piped.
Oh, wow.
By hand.
Dang.
So
That's awesome.
That's crazy.
we have a small but mighty team here. I think we only got about 26 employees.
Right now, 26
Right now,
employees.
I got 5 people in our paint department who were just kicking butt with all these orders that we have coming up, that we have coming out.
It's been very busy with Halloween. Halloween
Yeah,
orders.
well,
Kept shop very busy right now. We're on our final push to get everything out for Halloween time. But
Yeah, and then we're excited to take a few days off and then get right back into it, and all that good stuff.
So actually, speaking of that, with you guys being busy during COVID, with the whole movie, haunt, and effects industry basically taking a hit, did you guys have to shut down or kind of change things up and think outside the box to keep going?
All of the above. So we were literally 5 days away. Okay, I guess it was more or less than that. We were the weekend leading into Transworld. We obviously got the news that Transworld was canceled, which is our big industry trade show. I'm sure you guys have been.
Yeah, so it was Friday before we leave for Transworld on a Monday.
That Friday when they did the
it was the Friday beforehand, and that way we're there to set up on Tuesday and have everything ready, on Wednesday and everything. But yeah, so it was literally that weekend that we found out, and that canceled, and then it was just kind of a cascade of every trade show after that kind of getting canceled.
So Transworld got canceled. What can we do? And so what we did for that entire week is we did a virtual trade show the entire week. We called it Fans World at the shop. We put a little bit bigger than what you see behind me up. And we did the exact same thing. We had all the masks that we had available that we were going to take to Transworld up on the shelves. We were basically like selling them kind of live, like people could see them. People would ask.
We were doing live try-ons of like every mask on the shelf.
Everything.
My hair was like all over the place because I was just on and off, on and off. But it was actually really good because it seemed like people really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And it gave them something to do despite all the COVID stuff.
Absolutely.
Now, in terms of the shop being shut down,
following week. So literally we did that entire Fans World live stream. And then that Friday, we got word that, hey, come Monday, we're going to be in a mandatory shutdown for at least 2 or 3 weeks. And so thankfully, we were able to get through Fans World. And then, yes, the entire shop was shut down for the better part of a week and a half. And then myself, Josh, and a few other core employees and the office personnel, we came in to be able to start, responding to emails and letting people know that the production side of things had been put on hold because at that point we couldn't bring the production staff in. But thankfully, within a few weeks after that, we do a lot of stuff that's not just really cool Halloween-related stuff.
We have a couple of side projects that were considered essential business. And so we were able to kind of come back and get started to get on work.
So thankfully, we were able to come into the shop. We were only shut down for maybe a month overall. But since then, we've been pretty much in full-blown production since the very beginning of May, all the way through till now. So thankfully, we
haven't really seen a slowdown on orders. In fact, this is probably one of our busiest Octobers that we've had in quite some time.
That's awesome, guys.
So yeah, we're very thankful for that, and we're very thankful for everybody who continued to place orders even through this pandemic. We know that it was a questionable time of year. We had a lot of discounts, a lot of different promotions that we had going on to, in recognition of that, but, to kind of make it a little bit easier on people's wallets for if there was a mask that they've been really wanting and they had the ability to get it this year, even if they might not have been able to use it. We wanted to give them a little bit of discount because we know what it feels like. We're going through the same thing, so.
Yeah, absolutely.
So for you guys getting to make masks and props for a living, it definitely sounds like a childhood dream. That some would have. Was this always your goal in life, or did you guys have another path that you were going on and just kind of fell into it? What got all of this started for you?
So I'm going to kind of let Josh take the lead on this one because it's funny you asked that.
So I started doing haunted houses when I was a kid, maybe 14, 15 years old at my house. My mom was very encouraging and let me take over the garage and just keep growing it. And then for all the California people there, I went to work for Not Scary Farm. And I was just too out of control for Not Scary Farm. I wear stilts and all this stuff. And they wouldn't let me do any of the stuff that I wanted to do. So I left them and I went to work for another, it was in Glendora. It was called the Haunted Hotel Glendora. And it was put on by iWorks Entertainment, which is a Universal Studios subsidiary. And I got connected to all these people with Universal Studios there. And then I worked City Walk from there. So long story short, I've always wanted to do haunted houses and I've been connected to the industry since I was a teenager. I was very fortunate enough to run the haunted houses down in San Diego for the Haunted Hotel for about 18 years before we broke away to open up my own up in the Bay Area.
So that's kind of where we first started seeing the Silicone Masks. Is he went to Transworld one year with the Haunted Hotel, a company we used to work for, and saw this brand new product, and literally he would not leave the
booth.
Fell
in love.
He came home and told me, he was like, Tabitha, you have no idea what I just found. And it's kind of become a running joke because that's eventually how we got to know Ken, the owner of CFX. Is it kind of got to the point where Josh wouldn't leave the booth.
If you know me, sometimes I'm forceful on things. And I made Kenny be my friend because I love the mask. And I couldn't afford one. So I figured the next best thing was, well, I'll just get to know the guy that makes them. And, he's never given me a discount. I'll tell you that right now. That point never worked. I've never gotten a damn discount on a mask. But
we established a good friendship, on top of the professional relationship that we had when we were buying the masks for the haunt. And so when we broke away to do our own events up in Northern California, where you are, which I definitely want to touch base on in a little bit here, we definitely, we went to Ken, we went to CFX, and we're like, hey, we're opening our new haunt. He goes, oh, finally, you're going to buy some masks for me. And so basically, we picked up, I think, about 12 masks that first year.
12 masks the first year with a couple of sets of gloves.
Absolutely.
And the main reason why is because I didn't have any makeup artists. We were brand new to the Bay Area. I didn't know anybody. It was just kind of one of those hey, I'm not going to take any chances. I want to look good, even if I can't find makeup artists. Now, for my makeup artists that I did find, you guys were all amazing. And ended up, you guys ended up doing a great job. That was the thing. Back in March, before I was open, I was like, man, who am I going to be able to get? Will I get talent? So I invested in the masks. And then the very next year, we bought 10 more masks from it. And it became a standard rotation. If you went to one of our haunted houses, you would run into at least 10 to 12 masks per night in there.
And so at that point, being that Josh and I are both from Southern California, CFX got a deal with HBO for the Game of Thrones lights that we have. And so they were grandfathered a spot on the show floor at San Diego Comic-Con, which very rarely ever happens. And so Ken reached out to us. They're like, hey, we know you're from Southern California. We know you know Comic-Con. You guys know our product. Would you come out and kind of help work the booth with us? And we said yes. And so
Oh yeah.
PR
Free
reps,
admission to Comic-Con.
right? Can't complain. I get to sling the silicone in my favorite convention within my favorite city. Absolutely. And so it kind of became a staple for us. We were PR reps, unofficial PR reps for the company, doing it kind of on our own. And then it kind of came to a point where Ken was like, do you know what? Will you guys just come work for me full time? I know you're going to have to move out to Baton Rouge. And, you know, at that point, we weren't really complaining because we'd done the haunt up in the Bay Area for 3 years. Our 4th year, we were having issue after issue with the city. And so we were kind of at a weird transitional point, and he, you know, broached that subject, and we were like, well, let's crunch some numbers. And we couldn't, you know, at the time, and still now, we couldn't say no. And for as far as I feel, it's been a really fantastic opportunity for us.
And we are moving
Nice.
the haunt out here to Baton Rouge, where it's much more welcoming for the haunt community out here. There's
not as strict.
Way cheaper. My wallet is quite a bit fatter since moving out here, and I don't make a lot of money. I'm not trying to brag about that. It's just everything is so much cheaper out here that I'm excited to get a haunt open out here. It won't be a CFX related haunt, although CFX will be providing all of the props and
it's because we have most of it already.
Yeah.
But so in a nutshell, long story short, it's pretty much a dream come true. I mean, being able to work on masks and do scary stuff, in addition to the fact that we do our own haunted houses. I couldn't have asked for a better day job, and to be able to say we do this 365 days a year, it's quite freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think a lot of people really fully understand the difference between latex and silicone and the process between the two. Could you guys just do a quick breakdown on like what it takes to do one of your creations?
Sure.
You want to start?
Well, I mean, you could.
All right,
So
I'll start it out.
So
So similar to latex masks, it starts in the sculpting room. We start with the sculpt. We have a proprietary core or armature that we sculpt on, and that's how we get the fit of the mask that you have. If you've ever worn a CFX mask versus any other mask out there, you'll know that we have a very good fit on our masks. The finish on the mask is also, kind of complete from, the outside all the way to the inside.
We try to design our masks with the haunted house industry in mind. So we want you to have access to all of your senses, or as many of your senses as possible. So we want you to be able to breathe, of course. We need you to be able to see and to be able to hear, because it's about safety, ultimately.
So that core has all the proper dimensions built into it already. So when we sculpt on top of it, the eye holes are going to be lined up, the ear holes are going to be there, the mouth with the lip cupping is going to be there. So we start with the sculpt. In fact, I have a sculptor in-house. He's downstairs right now as we're doing this, getting a couple extra hours in, knocking out some sculpts. But so we'll start with the sculpt. Once we have a good sculpt that we like and it fits all our criteria, it goes to the mold room. And we do all our molds in-house here. So we have a separate mold room. We have a couple of mold makers that do everything. Some of the stuff we do is a little bit proprietary, but it's basically a fiberglass shell mold, two-part mold. We put the core inside of it, and then there's some secret stuff that happens from there. It gets filled with silicone.
Silicone in the mold.
And then it gets demolded. After that, it goes to patching and seaming, where they take off all the little imperfections and errors. They check to see if there's any air bubbles or holes in the mask, and they'll patch those up. If the mask doesn't pass a certain criteria, it goes into the trash pile and gets shredded up.
Then we turn it into guts.
Yeah, then it gets turned into guts. All the little shreddings.
There you go.
Recycled right there. So then after patching and seaming, it goes to painting. It spends quite some time in the paint room. Then if there's any modifications or hair additions or any kind of thing like that, it has to go to those departments. So we have a separate hair room. Modifications usually happen near the paint room with one of the artists there, depending on what modification it is. And then after all that, then it goes to our inspection station at shipping and receiving, and then it'll go out to its new home.
So so it's quite a lengthy process to make a silicone mask.
Overall, about 16 to 18 hours is spent on each mask, on the basic ones. Some of the more advanced ones, like this one right now, Bathory, that has a bunch of ear modifications, could have upwards of 24, 25 hours into it.
And so the biggest difference that is between latex and silicone is while they are both rubber, Silicone does not break down or corrode over time, at least the silicone that we've chosen for our masks.
It's got a 20-year shelf life. We use smooth on silicone, so it's very reputable. We know where it comes from.
Yep.
We know what's inside of it.
Yep.
And they offer a 20-year shelf life on it. My oldest mask is about 12 years old now.
Going on 12 years old.
12 years old. Been using the haunt, and so it's seen quite a bit of
Other
use.
than a little bit of paint wear from where it wears the costume, it's totally fine. But yeah, silicone is just, in my opinion, and in longevity's sake, a better material because it's not going to corrode, it's not going to lose its shape, it's not going to become brittle and break down over time. You can throw a silicone mask in a plastic bag in your costume bag and leave it there for months at a time and pull it out and it'll still be fine and good to go. You might just want to,
you don't want any sharp creases or anything like that, but as long as it's relatively flat and smooth, it's good to go.
Yep.
So going in with that, we have a question in the chat room from a John Running, and he's wanting to know how long does the paint on the mask stay? Does it fade over time? Is it affected over time?
Is it a special kind of paint you guys use?
So we use a proprietary silicone paint.
But it is silicone
it is based on silicone. Again, some of these things we just don't talk about in the public circles, but it's not hard to figure out kind of what I'm talking about. But yeah, so we use our own paint system here. So it's made of the same silicone that the mask is. So it bonds to the mask, no problem.
Nice.
And we also paint with it in a certain time frame. So silicone will cure over a long period of time.
Cure times?
Just because you pull it out of the mold and it's rubber and it feels like silicone doesn't mean it's completely cured. So the key is you want to paint your product within a certain time frame, and so that way it doesn't completely cure, and you'll get that bonding, and you won't get delamination issues. One of the number one things with silicone is nothing sticks to it
except silicone.
Yeah, so you'll even with other silicone paints, sometimes you'll get some delamination issues. So it's all about kind of prepping your surface ahead of time, getting it right out of the mold, getting it to paint room as quickly as possible, and going from there. But it should last.
Once you have it, the mask has been painted and sealed, so you shouldn't have any issue with the paint losing its luminosity.
Yeah, so
over time.
It won't fade from the sunlight. Yeah. It won't fade from any of that stuff. But what you may get is paint rub, and that's like, so if you're wearing a big heavy trench coat, like I ruin more masks this way than anything. I have a big heavy leather trench coat
and a hat,
and it'll lay on the bib. And so I always get these lines right in here where the paint will eventually rub away. Now, this is after 2 seasons of use, extreme wear and tear. Again, I work for the company, so I know how to fix the mask. So I tend to abuse my masks a little bit. But yeah, they tend to be very durable. Like I said, I have a mask that's 12 years old. It has the original paint job on it. And it's just right here. You can see that it's just faded out a little bit. It's not even completely rubbed off.
Yeah, so for the most part, you shouldn't really run into any paint wear in that outside of that. There's only one other instance that we've seen of not a paint fading, but we have like a porcelain white mask that if it's left in the direct sun will start to tinge a little bit, but not horribly so.
It will pick up a little bit of UV tinge on the when we tint them white, the silicone white, like the mask that I had on earlier. That one they can yellow a little bit, but again, that's like you're leaving it out in Southern California sun for
like in your office window, just like staring outside. Yeah. So for the most part, no. And that's the other thing, that silicone is a superior material than latex. You won't have those issues. Sorry, I like the brain is squishy.
Yeah. So we have another question from Ed, and he wants to know. He said, "Amazing masks, and I love Toxie up top. What is your favorite mask?"
That's like asking me to pick my favorite child, which I don't have any, so I guess it's not hard. So I'm a little bit biased because Josh's first mask that he keeps talking about is a Yorick, and we actually don't have one because we don't have any in stock because it's a popular item.
Yeah, so we are selling out of a lot of our masks. This is kind of
pretty
the
much
last
all that we have in stock.
Left in stock.
Kind of like what's behind me. That's that and Josh and that, with the exception of like a few other things, are all that we have in stock. So it's a skeleton, basically.
It's Yorick skeleton.
And we have 2 versions of him, and the one that he has is our first generation of him. And so I'm a little bit biased because that was the first mask he ever had. That's the one that he brought home, and I love the costume he created for it. So I do love Yorick. However, I don't know. Let me think on it a little bit more. I don't know.
Which one for you?
I don't know. Here.
So for me, it's the good old amp. this paint job isn't my favorite, although I do like the white ones. I have this guy right here, and I have the standard yellow one, which is the mascot character. It's a super versatile mask that I can literally like carry around in the backseat of the car and throw it on whatever without any makeup on, and get some cheap scares or entertain some people for a little bit, and then pop it right back off and go to normal. The blending in the eyes is almost perfect, where I don't need to do any makeup. I don't have to put glasses on or anything like that. So that's my favorite. Is the
and so my favorite's a little bit weird because she is so versatile, and there's 2 different versions of her on the shelf right now. Is our Roxy the Girl mask. So that's who Bathory up here. That's her base mask, and Mermaid Roxy up here. She just fits incredibly well, and she is so versatile. I have so many pictures of me wearing Bathory. But that also kind of segues into one of my other favorite masks that we have is Dracul.
That's
and Dracul
awesome.
is our bat character who has these amazing ears and that brow structure. And so that's a modification. So we did that as a mask of the month for October of last year.
And this is the same exact mask base, just with different modifications put onto it.
Wow. That's so
So you
cool.
can kind of see the versatility of what we can do with this stuff.
Yeah.
I guess ultimately our Creature's Bride is probably one of my favorites as well. She fits really well on me. I like the way I look in them. But yeah, I mean, in terms of scary masks though, I think our Typhoid Mary is probably also one of my favorites because she's very Silent Hill nurse-like.
Yeah.
And you always get a scream out of stuff like that. So
Yeah.
there's too many to choose from. We've got so many masks, it's not even funny.
And I have a bunch of new ones coming out right now for all of you that follow us. I have 12 designs in the books, so they'll be out before Transworld.
Uh-huh.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm gonna turn around. What are your guys' favorite masks?
So definitely
I know mine.
the Bride of Creature. I was already drooling over that one and been drooling over it. Yeah, it has my heart. I like that old classic monster feel and the hair. I mean,
yeah. Good choice.
So
Yeah,
this one
definitely.
is a fully hand punched head of hair on that one, so every strand in there is hand punched in, and then
amazing.
Yeah.
I'm making
Design
that face
it out.
like I did it, but I can just know, like
Yeah.
Jason.
Oh yeah,
So-
no. As soon as I saw that one, I've been drooling over it for a while. I was just like, it's so beautiful, and it's very, very classic to
Yeah.
the original feel, and the coloration on it was done so well. So that one just has my heart for sure. What about you, babe?
Mine's easily Creature from the Black Lagoon Silver Screen Edition right there.
Right?
I mean, that is
Yeah.
just so cool. And
Yeah.
I mean, because
I'll
I've
move
always
a
been a
little bit
huge fan of
closer for
Creature.
you. That way you can see him and all of his old school.
Yeah,
so
no,
just so
that-
you guys know, we do have the universal license. There's no guarantee on how long we're going to carry that license for. So if you are interested in picking up any of our licensed universal characters,
His
do it
flanges are my
sooner than
favorite.
later. We will try.
So I
to
have
make
to
some
do it
kind of
right away.
announcement. Yeah, we'll try to make it.
Sooner rather than later.
Yeah, we'll try to make an announcement if the license is going to go away. But just when we had the Marvel license for a period of time, and sorry, I'm trying to be on camera there. I keep walking off. We had the Marvel license, and no one bought the mask right when we had it, and now everyone wants these Marvel masks, and we don't carry the license anymore. So we actually don't even have the molds for them anymore, so we couldn't make them if we wanted to.
Yeah. So basically,
Wow.
anything that's licensed, we always like to say that it's a limited license because it is. There's no set end date. However, it could end at any time. So we try to encourage, even with our Game of Thrones stuff, and now with our Universal Monsters, if it's something that your heart has been desiring, we can do 50-50 payment plans. So I definitely recommend trying to grab it while you can because it may not be here forever.
And like I said, we try.
We
to
have a comment asking. Sorry,
Sorry.
we have a comment asking if there's a Dracula.
No. So this is where we get into the subject of silicone masks and realistic faces. We get so many questions all the time. Hey, can you make a mask that looks like this person? Can you make a mask that looks like that person? Well, yeah, we can. But then depending on who puts that mask on, it's going to distort to whatever the face is underneath it. And so it may not look like that person anymore. So we try to kind of be like, we don't really do that kind of realistic style look.
Yeah.
Bela Lugosi has such a
it's such an
very
iconic
recognizable
look.
and unique face. I mean, it was hard enough to do Frankenstein over here with Boris.
We've taken quite a bit of critique even on him, even though that is the universal design that they approved. But yeah, so we try to shy away from things like that.
We
Now we
have
have talked about.
Yeah,
Go
I would
ahead.
say we have talked about doing Lon Chaney's Phantom of the Opera as well as Wolfman. But we're in talks with Universal with that as well as the family, because again, licensing and making sure likeness is okay with the family. So that's just
Yeah, with
another
the Cheney
conversation.
estate, it gets complicated. It's not just Universal; you're dealing with multiple entities.
Yeah, especially because it is their
Yeah,
likeness. They actually did create the character. This is when these actors created the characters themselves. So obviously, we always want to do everything up and up on the positive side of things. That's how we got a relationship with Marvel. We did a mask, and we're like, oh, it's the it's the thing, and they're like, hey, you can't do this, and we're like, well, what if we did it for you? And they're like, okay, let's talk. So the catalog for Universal's characters is open to us. So we are also looking at their other characters besides just the classic monsters, which is where They Live came from. That's how we love They Live. We know he's a cult classic. We have him in the sunglasses grayscale look too. So we're definitely looking at other Universal creatures and characters they have in their catalog to see what else we can do.
All of the Universal stuff we're trying to do, we'll do the full color version as well as the black and white version of it.
Nice.
I think I like the silver screen version a lot better.
Oh yeah.
Anyways,
creature.
It's so iconic in that
and
regard.
if when I take one of the Frankensteins home, it'll be the black and white one.
Yeah. We
So
only made initially one black and white one, and then 3 or 4 of the green color versions. And that black and white one sold almost instantaneously.
Yeah, we had gloves for them and everything.
Yep, and we can do gloves. We can do gloves for Frankenstein. We do gloves for They Live. We don't have gloves for Creature just yet because they are so unique.
That'll have to be a custom sculpt. And again, we're trying to pump out all these masks right now. So we'll get to that
Right.
We're trying to take care of us first.
Yeah.
So when developing creatures, is there criteria that you like to follow, or do you just let imagination kind of take over?
A little bit of both.
So funny. I'm the mask operations manager here, and so it's my job to come up with all the new designs, facilitate all that, bring sculptors in, do the renderings of all the stuff beforehand. I've just taken on this role 3 months ago.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a new process for me as well. But yeah, so right now I'm wide open to everything. I've taken a lot of ideas and suggestions from fans of CFX, that have ordered masks from us before, and they're like, hey, I've always wanted this mask. So usually my response is like, send me a picture of it, draw it out. Let me see what it's going to look like.
Well, about this time last year, I guess over summer last year, we did what we called a mask contest. And we had an open submission for people who wanted to submit ideas that they wanted to turn into masks. And we ultimately picked a winner and 2 runners-up. The winner was actually this guy, Vengeance, up here. Here, I can bring him down.
Nice.
And so, yeah, he is a fantastic design, and we've done him in multiple paint schemes. And then we had 2 runners-up, and so one of the runners-up is actually being worked on right now. The other runner-up will be in our lineup in the next month or so. We've got another one that also came from that contest, but didn't make it in the running. But we've reached out to. We're like, hey,
it was such a good design that I wanted to do it anyway. So
a lot of the designs that we're starting with came from there. However, we put out a call for illustrators as well as sculptors and be like, hey, we're looking for people to kind of flesh out some ideas that we have internally. That way we can kind of see what they look like drawn out or rendered in 3D. That way we can bring that to our in-house sculptors or our contract sculptors that we have in right now and be like, bring this to life on our mask. And they say yes.
That's
awesome. So it's kind of wide open. Now we have certain criteria. CFX masks. We do have a certain look to our masks. We try not to be really big and built out on a lot of our masks, and that's more for the comfort. Silicone is a heavier material than latex, so it does weigh a little bit on your face. People tend to sweat a little bit in it as well. Not as bad as latex, believe it or not, but that's one of the cons of a silicone mask is that you sweat in it. So we try to keep everything as thin as possible, and that way that heat will actually dissipate through the silicone.
And evenly distributed. That way when you are wearing the mask, you don't feel the weight. Because if it's too built up in one way or another,
you have a big old horn on one side if you walk
it.
around like this by the end of the night.
But I mean, yeah, pretty much the sky's the limit. If we think we can translate that into a really bitchin' silicone mask, we're going to probably do our best to make that happen. So.
Yeah. So if you have ideas.
Nice. So, He always has ideas, believe me.
Yeah.
So being a part of the haunt industry, we've noticed a lot of trends that tend to pop up every year, and it kind of carries into themes of haunt, like especially that whole clown craze where everyone was buying masks and walking all over every town to scare people. So do you guys try to capitalize on the trends and just go with it, or are you just kind of in your own world already and it's
So we
too
try
hard to
to
jump
set
in
the-
on some of that stuff?
Yeah, we try to set the trends a little bit, but we cannot escape the whole clown trend. It doesn't matter what mask you see behind me. It's been done in a clown paint job before. So I mean that, and then zombies. You know, like everything has to have a zombified version of it as well. But yeah, so we end up riding that trend a little bit, but we definitely don't try to encourage it too much. Every time. I'm not trying to discourage any clown mask sales here, but every time a clown mask sale comes through, the paint team goes, another one. But yeah, and so, but it is what it is, right? And so if that's what's scaring people, if that's the look that people are going for, we have no problem making all the masks for them. And so one of the things that we really pride ourselves in is we take a lot of custom orders. When you call, Tabitha's going to answer the phone. It's either going to be Tabby or Jonathan. And they're going to walk you through the entire ordering process. You can be like, hey, can I get this guy, but I want him cast in a red silicone, and I want black accents on him with gold horns. You know, it's like, yeah, okay, we can do that.
We have a mask coming in right now that I think it's our Horsemen of Famine, so the guy with the really big tongue, who's got every add-on that we offer. So we have like the axe or the hammer, we've got the stake, we have an ice cream cone, we have an exposed brain. He's literally getting everything. And so we're really excited to see this come through. Usually we're like, what's going on? We often get surprised by our customers and the things that they request. Sometimes we're like, okay, that's strange, but if he loves it or if she loves it, then awesome, more power to them. So, you know, usually we're like, oh no, not another clown job, or oh no.
But we're never going to say no to, we're never going to say no to a clown or a zombie. But in terms of doing our new designs, I will be honest and say that I am shifting in different directions. Although I will always include a new, if I'm releasing 12 masks, one of them's going to be some kind of clown variant right there.
So yeah, we definitely try to ride the trends a little bit, especially with social media, you know, with the Area 51 thing, stuff that happened last year.
Yeah, we've
got several alien masks, you know, it's like, get in, we're storming Area 51, you know, and that kind of stuff. So we definitely try to follow the trends. If we're not setting them for one reason or another, we're definitely riding it and following the trends and sharing what we have that would help with that trend.
But yeah, no, I'm ready to see some new stuff. You know, definitely see some new directions taken with some of the haunt characters that are out there. And yeah, hopefully we can help with that.
Awesome. So moving forward, do you guys have any plans for the future or even projects that you're really, really excited about that, you know, you could tell everybody while we get ready to close some of this out?
Well, right now, like Josh was saying, we have some contract sculptors coming down. We have Roy Woolley in shop right now. He's the one who's here downstairs sculpting. If you're not familiar with Roy, he was on 2 seasons of Face Off. He was on season 3 and season 5. He was the runner-up on season 5. And he's been the lead makeup artist over at Netherworld Haunted Attraction for many years, aside from doing his own creature effect shops and workshops and stuff like that. So we're really excited to have Roy in the shop. Knocking out 2 sculpts right now. You guys, I can't even believe it. It's amazing to watch him work.
He just got in on Tuesday, and he's
one sculpt is basically like he's just down to detailing, and the other one he's already got like basic, like more than basic shapes. And so we're really excited about the new contract sculptors that we have coming in, and the new masks that we have coming out. Obviously, on the other side of that. We were working on a really awesome film project with a really big name that we can't talk about yet, but hopefully I was in a production house, but it's not just a production house, just a really big name that hopefully we'll be able to talk about this time next year with the way the film industry has been going. And we also just picked up a few other smaller film projects that are a little bit local. One's a little bit local, one's a little bit outside of local. But for us right now, what we're most excited about is the new masks that we have coming out for you guys.
So CFX is, you know, last year we had a little bit of a slower year, and the year before that, just all, you know, it's just been kind of a crazy up and down year. And so we really haven't been satisfied with how many sculpts we've been releasing. And so that's kind of why I've taken this new position on, and, you know, we're really pushing to have a bunch of new sculpts for next year. It's hard when you already have 160 characters to come up with new original stuff. But,
right.
I think we did it on this round right now. So yeah, so I'm really happy that I have 12 new designs coming from you. I have 4 artists that are in series kind of coming into the shop up until 2021, the beginning of 2021, to get these things sculpted out. So we have some pretty good names and some really good talent coming in to get them done for us. So I expect really good things. That's really what I'm most excited about.
Exactly.
We did just we wrapped a couple of film projects just recently that I can't wait to see them on the screen.
Yeah.
But so other than that, for right now, it's really just the mask, getting the new masks out.
Absolutely.
That's awesome, you guys. Well, hey, thank you very much. Is there anywhere everyone should go look to follow you or to purchase your masks and stuff like that at?
Absolutely. The best place to go is cfxmasks.com. You can see pretty much our entire collection there online. You can also see what we have in stock. If you don't see what you want on there, shoot us an email. There's a very good chance that we have already done it or we absolutely can do it. It's just not something that we do regularly, so it may not be on the website. But we have got so many pictures of things that we've done before. So if you want something made, you don't quite see what you're looking for on the website, shoot us an email. Our email address is info@compositeeffects.com. That's COMPOSITEEFFECTS, not the FX. But CFXmasks.com. You can find us on Facebook, Composite Effects. You can find us on Instagram. We're CFX Masks. We are also CFX Masks on YouTube. And for some reason, CFX Unmasked on Twitter. We're working on that one. That was before me. But, pretty much if you search CFX Masks, you will find us. And we are hopefully very much looking forward to convention circuit next year. Given everything is, in a much more manageable state. And speaking of, hopefully we'll see you guys at Transworld next year. And it'll be a good time when we'll be back to selling masks and scaring people.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Guys.
Well, thanks, Tabitha and Josh. This was great.
You.
Thanks for all the information. And thanks for taking the time out to join us for Sinister CyberCon. Everyone, please go check out their stuff. They have amazing work. Obviously, they're super awesome to talk to. So don't feel like you can't reach out to them because this was amazing to do. They're very, talkable, relatable, and they have all your answers for the most part. So
I would say we've been there, done that. Let us know. We'll walk you through it.
As hunters, we know what usually we know what you're looking for, and we can guide you in the right direction. So aside from working for an amazing company, we also do hunts and events in that regard. So we can usually figure out what you need and get you what you need.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. Well, thank you again so much. And stay tuned for Sinister CyberCon with some more panels coming on later today.
Thanks for having us.
Bye. Thank you.
Yeah.